Yes, Ben, the feud between Anthony Seibold and Wayne Bennett has been dramatically reignited. Now, I spoke to Wayne Bennett this morning and he has unloaded on Anthony Seibold, and you can see from the headline there, he's saying, don't blame me for the club's current crisis. Now, that's in reference to Carl Morris, the chairman, yesterday, saying that Anthony Seibold felt he needed 2 or 3 years to rebuild this roster, which is obviously an inference that Wayne Bennett left the club in a decayed state. Now, I spoke to Wayne Bennett today. He has unloaded on Carl Morris. He says he's not aware of the running of the club. And he then turned his attentions to Seibold, saying he has 12 Origin and Test players on his roster, and if he can't get the best out of them, then maybe he can't coach. So strong words from Wayne Bennett. He hasn't missed Seibold or Carl Morris, and clearly I think he's vindicated, Ben, because when he left the club he had a 64% win rate, so the Broncos weren't going that bad.
And does he get specific, Wayne Bennett, on some of the recruitment decisions that have been passed off as Wayne's decisions?
Yeah, he has been. So some of the specific ones, he's been blamed for Jack Bird's signing. That wasn't done by Jack Bird. That was done by the Recruitment and Retention Committee. He's been criticised about Darius Boyd's 4-year deal, which currently stands. He says he had no role in that. He says Paul White handled the negotiations with Darius's manager, George Mimer, and so Wayne said he stepped right back. Now, Wayne says he was part of a 4-man recruitment and retention team. The other 3 people were Peter Nolan, Darren Lockyer, of course, the board member, and Paul White, the CEO. So Wayne Bennett says, yes, while he was part of a panel, he wasn't independently signing players. So that's another thing that he was quite annoyed about, the inference that he was shaping the roster himself.
Peter, have the Broncos responded to Bennett's allegations?
No, they haven't, Kenty. I spoke to Carl Morris today. I put that to him. I said, Carl, look, Wayne Bennett's pretty filthy. He's gone on the attack. What would you like to say? And he says, Pete, look, I've said my piece yesterday. I'm not going into any more detail about Wayne Bennett. He says he is disappointed, Kenty, privately at the deterioration in the relationship between the Broncos and their greatest coach, who delivered 6 premierships. Of course, Wayne Bennett's daughter still works for the club. Carl Morris has great respect for her, as does Paul White, and they have her working as a PA there. So, look, there is some Bennett blood still in the place, and they're respectful of Bennett's daughter. But looking forward, Carl Morris says he wants to address some of the bigger issues at the club that exist at the moment.
How much of the blame, then, have the Broncos accepted in the deterioration of that relationship?
Well, Kenty, I think they've got to take blame for wider things, don't they? And you made some good points last night, which I heard. And talking to Carl Morris today, he says they will launch a full-scale investigation into every facet of Brisbane's $52 million empire. Now, that goes across everything: football department, backroom staff, front office. The board themselves will look at what they need to do to get the Glamour Club back on track. Now, it's been 14 years, Kenty, or 16 years since they've won, 14 years since they've won a premiership. It's the longest drought in their history. It has to end. And Carl Morris is going to look at all structures of the business, Kenty, to get this club back to where it needs to be.